Do any of these challenges sound familiar? Your organization has lost momentum on implementing the changes after a few setbacks. Your workforce now feels like it's in limbo, and some of the people are suggesting that you go back to the old ways of working. Your workforce has largely accepted that there's going to be change, but they don't feel like your organization has prepared them with the right training or support. Your organization knows that it needs to build resilience and capacity, but it isn't clear about how it would like to go about achieving that goal. If those statements resonated with you, or your organization is facing challenges around feedback loops, building skills, lifting morale, or attracting and developing talent, it's likely that your organization or team is in the middle of its journey towards change. The middle stages of the change process will have a big impact on the resistance to the change, as well as capacity and capability in implementing the new reality. This stage picks up where our last stage left off, often with a lot of overlap as well. Your organization at this point is in a place where morale and productivity can be quite low, and your workforce might be feeling fatigued by the changes. It might be feeling like you're putting a lot of energy into keeping your employees motivated, and if you're managing the change well, some of them might be even starting to engage with the new changes. If your workforce tells you that your organization never realizes the full benefits of the change and is all talk, no action, this might be the uphill struggle that it's failing to overcome. The middle stages of the psychological process of transition is called the neutral zone. When it comes to change, this is your organization's tipping point, where the organization is teetering on the edges of moving forward to its new reality or falling back to the way that things used to be. It's likely that if you've got to this stage of the process, your workforce has made substantial progress on letting go of the ways that it used to work in the past and is beginning to experiment with its new future. However, transition between the past reality and future reality can feel quite strange and disorientating. It can also feel lonely. It's a bit like traveling by yourself and living out of a suitcase. Since your organization has departed from its past reality, you might have lost your routines, familiarity, and comfort zone. Your preferences might also change en route to your destination. The journey itself can have delays, challenges, be anxiety-inducing, and bureaucratic. However, it can also be exciting, and it opens up a whole host of new possibilities. Opportunities to explore novel approaches and new ways of working are plentiful, and there's no single set way to approach or do things yet. In the infamous lyrics sung by Bananarama, "It's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. And that's what gets results." That really sums up our mindset that we try to encourage in the neutral zone phase. You need to provide your workforce with time, space, and support, as well as permission to experiment with its new future in order to get on board with it. The big mistake you might have seen leaders make is to try and skip over this time in the change process. They feel like the past is the past and your workforce should be fully engaged with its new reality. Only in sci-fi can we currently beam someone from one place to another, and when it comes to change, the journey is as important as the destination. When it comes to the process of change, the journey opens up a whole possibility of experimentation and developing our new patterns and behaviors. There are many pitfalls that your organization might get trapped in at this stage. You might have seen it before that when your workforce has generally started to accept the change, that your organization prematurely withdraws the support such as feedback channels or motivational events. What that probably did to your workforce is reduce the psychological safety required for experimentation and innovation. Instead, it's likely to have increased the resistance to the change. Often, organizations overlook the requirements to reduce performance expectations and targets during the change process. Your workforce is already going through a stressful process, and there will be unavoidable reduction to performance and productivity as they come to terms with their new future. If they are still expected to meet the same performance level as prior to the change, this will add additional stress and also make it so your staff feel less able to experiment. It will also reduce morale as a fear of failure takes hold. It's likely that your employees will try to hold on to the old ways of working as they know them well in order to meet the performance targets that have been set. Intuitively, your organization might try to sell the benefits at the first stage of the change project, but that often can cause your employees to feel like you're not honoring the past. Where it would have more of a positive impact is to start highlighting the benefits during the neutral zone, because after letting go of the past, it gives staff a reason to engage with the new future. You might have experienced in the past that during the middle stages of the change process, some organizations stop discussing the benefits altogether because they feel like it's already been communicated. Your organisation might be deprioritising giving meaning to the journey. We can all be in a rush to get to the finish line in order to receive the intended benefits, but the journey of getting there is incredibly important and an essential aspect of the psychological process of transition. Here is the optimum time to start to give every member of your workforce a part to play in the transition as a way to get them to feel part of the process. By enabling your workforce to participate, it increases the sense of control in the change, whereas being passive makes staff feel like it's happening to them. This is the point your organisation should provide suitable training and coaching. Identify the skills, behaviours, knowledge and the impact that you'd expect your workforce to have in the new reality, and develop training that bridges the gaps of where you were and where you'd like to be. You might want to consider third-party providers who can expand your training support and capacity. You should also consider what in-house expertise you could leverage to benefit the organisational aims. Give everyone in your workforce objectives relating to the change. This ensures that everyone has a role to play in the change and participates on your journey to your new future. Think about your workforce's extended support networks, which may include friends and family. It might even be worth considering how you can involve your employee support network in the change process through inviting them to events and celebrations. It might seem like a far-out concept, but this can help create empathy, understanding, and encouragement outside of the workplace, which will have a positive impact at work. It can also stop your workforce feeling lonely on the journey. It's important to praise your staff for getting involved in the change process by recognizing their contributions. By providing encouragement, you can motivate people to continue on the journey. Failing to do so is likely to delay your employees to take action or cause them to feel disillusioned with the change. Retaining key staff is important. You don't want the change process to cause them to consider other employment opportunities. Provide adequate resources. This isn't the time to start pulling the support away from your workforce. At this point of the psychological transition, they wouldn't have decided if they're going to stick or twist with your organisation's new reality. The more support and the better support you can provide, the more likely they are to engage moving forward. Cultivate a psychologically safe work environment where your employees aren't afraid of making mistakes while experimenting with the new changes. The first reason that this is essential is it encourages your employees to engage with the change. The second reason it's essential is they are testing the change and they might discover essential information that's required to improve the changes. Your organisation needs its workforce feeling comfortable with sharing those insights with you. Establish a visible change agents in your organisation. You might want to create some sort of change champion group that has responsibilities for embedding the change. Change agents allocated with these responsibilities need to have a direct reporting capability that can circumvent management and heads of department in order to connect with leadership and the teams driving the change. This is because you need feedback and insights from the front line, and you need that to be unfiltered so that you can truly understand how the change is impacting every level of your organisation. Invest in your middle management. It is often assumed that leading the change is the most intense role during change, but actually it comes with a degree of control and influence. Middle management, on the other hand, is often getting crushed from top down and bottom up. It shouldn't be forgotten that they're doing an intermediary role while processing the change for themselves. It's a heavy burden, particularly to carry alone. Ensure that your middle management have regular support with other managers in a similar position. You need to have a great deal of empathy for your managers and understand the challenges and pressures that are being put on them. It is essential to invest in training and support to help them understand how to manage their staff during change and reduce the feelings of being overwhelmed. That's a whistle-stop tour of some of the basic concepts during the middle stages of change. I hope you found it useful, but I completely appreciate it might feel overwhelming and a bit of a minefield. You might feel like you'd benefit from some support. If you would like to have a no-obligation discovery meeting to discuss your organisation's requirements, then go to www.cerebration.space/meeting. You can take or retake our free questionnaire that once you've completed it will give you an indication of where your organisation or team might be on its change journey, as well as tailored content, advice and ideas to support. You can also watch the other videos in this playlist to deepen your understanding of the psychological process of change and transition.